Welcome friends to another Dune video. Today we look at Caladan, the city of the castle and the regions of the planet. General spoilers from the start. First, the castle, its life and rooms. To help accommodate Jessica, there is a soundproofed meditation room within the bounds of the castle. Perhaps Paul also used this as he learned from his mother. And when Paul learns from Duncan or Gurney, this would be in the weapons training room. Here's a little excerpt from the original Dune novel by Frank Herbert. The light at noon poured through the skylights, where Paul would pore over paper and charts whilst eating, and in an annoyance to Thufir, he would have his back to the door. Also making up the room was a fencing mirror and target dummy, which had seen much action. It was well patched and padded. Elsewhere in the castle could be seen plays being performed. Actors would come up to the village to perform and would show official house plays to the ruling family. Glow globes lit both the stage and the seats. Leto's father was known to have fallen asleep during some of these performances. Perhaps after the family would eat in the dining halls, sharing the space with their larger families such as Duncan and Thufir. To the outside the castle was an ancient stone one. Inside the structure displayed rich tapestries showing the history of the family. Guards would be placed at key points, standing in front of creaky wooden doors. There was a dock attached to the castle as well that could be reached by going down a narrow side path, where you'd walk down the staircase. Crustaceans and moss raised the chances of slipping underfoot when you went down there. Several boats would be docked for one of the Atreides to choose, such as Leto's favourite, a coracle. Though not used later, there were stables used during the reign of Paul's Atreides, where he would stable the bulls that he loved to duel and breed. Also on shore, beneath the castle, was what the locals called Old Town, the site of the original settlement, centuries before the elegant capital city and spaceport were built on the plain behind the castle. And near Old Town, Leto had ordered a lighthouse be built down by the shore, and near it stood a statue of his father Paul Atreides, in full bullfighting dress. Before we get deeper into the city, the Dune Encyclopedia gives more details about the castle, and here we go to a direct quote from there. The estate surrounding the castle included approximately 500 hectares of arable land, enclosed by a wall 2 meters thick and 50 meters in height, built of vari-coloured Caladanian granite and strengthened by flying buttresses. Within the wall lay fields of pundi rice, both for home consumption and export, wheat and other grains, all manner of vegetables and fruits, and a complete array of livestock, both native and imported. The castle was in short capable of total self-sufficiency. Soldiers were housed in castle barracks, and the ruling family could walk through the conservatories containing plants from 100 worlds and look at a library fit to challenge the one on Kaitain. Celebrations can be found in the castle courtyard sometimes when the Duke decides a celebration is required. These can be up to a week in length. They sprawl over the docks and streets of Old Town, and their vendors will sell foods and pundi rice delights. Bonfires would be surrounded by merriment and drinking. Tavern owners would sell the wine made on Caladan, as well as spiced beer. With the celebrations still carrying on, we leave the castle and go into the city around it, dubbed Cala City. Villagers could be found mending nets, boiling pots of shellfish, and tending greenwood fires in smokehouses. In other parts, Paul and Leto had walked through a bazaar, past the stalls of vegetables and fresh fish to inspect beautiful tapestries. One location was Plaza de Toros, where Paul Atreides would do his bullfighting, and after celebrate with banners and pillars displaying the Atreides hawk displayed around him. Then in the crowded Reef Market, vendors set up kiosks, tables under fabric awnings and rickety shelves to display their wares. Merchants and craftsmen haggled with customers seeking a good price and enjoying the bargaining process. Mothers with energetic children set up crates, buckets and pots to display shells and urchins they had harvested from nearby tide pools. The Cala City Hospital treated the people there and had a large statue of Duke Miklos Atreides, Leto's grandfather. Leto would later pass his ancestor's place and bow his head in respect. There's a bar in Cala City called Song of the Sea, and there you can hear live music, sit by one fire and fill your belly. By the docks, huge cranes groaned and strained. They host bulging fish-filled nets out of holds. In the harbour beyond, trawlers lined up, awaiting their turn. The port facilities could not accommodate them all at once. Go around town and you would inhale the aromas of roasting fish, savoury soups, strong ale, fresh-baked bread and spiced nuts on a grate over open coals. Taverns and bakeries sported colourful signs with imaginative names. There's a large spaceport near the city itself, from which a shuttle can be taken up to a Guild Highliner for longer journeys. Suitcases as you move around inside will be carried on Holtzman suspensors like the glow globes. Crowds of onlookers and guards might gather there if you are well known. Near to Castle Caladan are the bustling military fields on the headlands. Dozens of troop carriers could be loaded up in support of an Atreides ordered military strike. Now we go further out and see Punji rice farmers who are alarmed when a pack of panther-like bog dwellers approach and they climb up a tree to escape them. Ripples move through the rice paddies, but the panthers don't emerge and move on. People made their way across the world on tube trains and short-haul cargo thopters. Further danger could be found in the sea, where election squids of electric power harass wingboats, and if enough gathered, they could even harass thopters. And dangerous land to climbing could also be found. The Urundi cliffs were 2,000 metres high, sheer granite that looks as if a seismic knife had sliced half of a mountain away. Rubble lay around the base from rocks that continued to slough off. Deacons gathered with rice farmers who had worked the fields for the day's harvest. These people were called the Murdar, and they lived quiet lives, and they would fast before taking part in a purification ceremony. Elsewhere, a small village called Alorans is sustained by grasses that can stabilise the slit faces of dunes in that area, and there are many of them, and this was brought on by an unusual type of terrain. Moonfish operations could also go on and be shipped off-world. Their sonic membranes would lull the fishes into breeding more often to increase profits, and some would find its way to the table of the Duke with seasoned punji rice, of course. Now we go back out to the jungles of Caladan, and in that trackless wilderness you could face animals and dangerous deadfall and tangled vines, and there some soldiers would train by hunting and tracking each other, as Paul and Duncan do. And that is where I'll end this whistle-stop tour of the Atreides homeworld, and turn this over to you in the comments. Got something to say? Let me hear it.